Okay, we're live. Just going to do some audio checks before we start the presentation. A couple of streams to fix up first. So bear with me while we check these streams. Instagram looks good. Going live on Instagram now. Fantastic. Okay, so we're live on Instagram and we are live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube. Facebook, what's happening with Facebook? Okay. Just checking that. Okay. All right, just doing a quick audio check. Yes, we are good for audio and we are live. Okay, fantastic. It's great to be with you this morning, this evening, or this afternoon, whatever time of the day it is, or wherever you are in the world watching this video, whether you're watching it live on the 14th of Feb 2024 or watching it after the fact. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Jared Dawson. I am the founder of the Brainiact business coaching system, and the purpose of today's event is to basically tell you how I went from a reasonably successful corporate professional to a $40,000 plus GST a month coach within 9 months, and basically letting you know exactly how I've done it in today's presentation. So that's the purpose of this. We have some actionable tasks that you can do very deliberately in order to move towards your journey of starting your own business coaching business like I did. So without any further ado, we will get into these slides. So yes, I've just introduced myself. So a little bit about me first. I grew up in southwestern Sydney in Campbelltown. I went to university at Western Sydney Uni, attended St Gregory's College in Campbelltown. I like cricket, I like soccer. We've got some young children that are aspiring young soccer players, so we're really into that. There's some of the video games that I have liked over the years, but running a business coaching franchise now with currently 6 franchise partners, don't get too much time to play those video games at this particular point, but we can always plan for the future and a little bit of downtime. Some of the music that I like, some electronic music, some trance, some classical music, definitely on runs, which is the bottom right images you can see on the screen. So I actually trained for my first marathon last year, which was 18 months in the making, and that's a photo just before I did the marathon, actually, so I didn't look that fresh afterwards. So yeah, a little bit of information about me. In terms of my career, so I touched on this a bit earlier, but I grew up in Campbelltown in southwestern Sydney. I completed a law and a marketing degree at Western Sydney Uni. And as you can see from these screenshots from my LinkedIn profile, I basically jumped straight into a corporate career with, to be honest, the first people that were kind enough to give me the opportunity to work, which was McPherson's Consumer Products at Kingsgrove, and then basically work through predominantly an industrial marketing, business to business distribution type of a career with a variety of different jobs. So James Hardie was fibre cement, Parklands Power Products was lawnmowers, whippersnippers, chainsaws, things like that. CNH Industrial is a massive tractor and construction equipment manufacturer. Pack and Send was a freight reseller, essentially. And Motion Australia is, I say is because they've changed names a few times, but it is a distributor of bearings, power transmission, and associated consumer products. So yeah, that's a little bit of a snapshot of my career, a career which ended in corporate in June 2021 before I started Brainiact. So in terms of why I quit that career, and this directly ties into why we're here today to talk about you potentially starting your own business coaching journey. For me, it was really around this concept of Ikigai, although I didn't, to be honest, understand it or know about it at the time. But basically for me, it was around understanding, well, what do I like to do? What does the world need? What can I actually earn a living from, and take care of my family and provide a better life for them? And what am I good at? So, when I started my business, really I wanted to help small business owners. So I'd had a lot of friends over the years that had small, predominantly trade businesses for me, people I used to play cricket and soccer with back in the day. And invariably would help them out with little tidbits of information, little bits of advice, and it went quite well for them. So I had the light bulb moment, I guess, in I think it was October 2020 when I was mowing the lawn one day and really thought about going out and helping small business owners. So I'm going to share with you all now exactly how I got to 40,000 a month plus GST within the first 9 months. It's relatively simple, as you'll see today, but it's not easy, and that will make a lot more sense as we sort of progress through these slides. But before we get to that specifically, I just wanted to give an introduction to Brainiact. So our vision is quite simple. It's to connect the world's business owners with support and resources to empower their success. To be perfectly honest, that's a big reason why I'm even doing this presentation and making this information publicly available, because ultimately the expression of our vision and ensuring that we can make more business owners successful will come down to empowering people to become business coaches like I did, so they can go out and actually help business owners. My wife and I in our business and everyone associated with Brainiact, we understand that not every business coach will be a good Brainiact franchise partner. Not every business coach that would be a good Brainiact franchise partner would want to partner with us, and that's fine. I mean, ultimately, for us, this isn't about selling franchises. This is about helping business owners, and that's a big part of why I'm even doing this presentation today, to make sure that the business owners out there that maybe you could help get the help that they deserve, and that's why our company exists. The explicit mission is really to drive the growth and profitability of 10,000 of those small business owners and their businesses by 2030. And our values are up on the screen. They're very straightforward. So honesty, trust, accountability, relationships, and being passionate, enjoying what you do, getting excited about it, having fun. Really making the most of this one beautiful gift that we've all got, which is called life. We're only here once, so you might as well, have a strong value alignment with, the thing that you're doing, so that you can get a real buzz and a kick out of it. So that's a bit about Brainiact and a bit about, I guess, who we are and what we do. So in terms of this first preparatory slide, really, before I go through some of the specific roadmaps, which for me is really the most important takeaway for this presentation today, the thing I really wanted to sort of come out from the beginning and say is really that having a giver's mindset is really key to becoming a business coach. You have to be willing to give a huge amount of value to the business owners that you're dealing with, particularly if you want to target the small segment that Brainiact specializes in finding and capturing and engaging with, which is sort of that $0 to $2 million mark. In Australia, at least, there's a lot of those businesses, 2.5 million, and they're very skeptical about paying somebody to help them to grow. So you've got to be able to break down that barrier around, I don't need a coach, I don't want to coach, I don't know what a coach is, which is quite prevalent as well. And the best way to do that is to give. And your purpose behind giving in those points of interaction is to basically take them on the journey from you being a total random, a nobody, through to somebody that they actually look up to, somebody that they respect, somebody that they can actually see themselves being vulnerable with and asking for assistance. And then, like we've got here on the slide, when people know you, like you, and trust you, they're much more likely to give you an inquiry. And the inquiry is what eventuates in that person becoming a client. Now, as a lot of us know, referrals are, the best way to get clients, because they're, depending upon what research you read, up to 10 or 100 times more likely to convert than a cold lead. So really giving people the opportunity to get to know you, to like you and trust you, and moving along that journey from absolute stranger to trusted partner is really empowered by having a giver's mindset. So, expect 1 in 20, maybe 1 in 100. I don't think it's that much, but at least 1 in 20 to basically give you the opportunity to give you an inquiry based off giving. So for me, this is the fun part, the roadmap. So basically today's presentation will be this roadmap, which I'm going to explain now. Then I will go through the individual elements of what you need to do, when and why. I'll have some commentary about that. Obviously, I've given myself 60 minutes, so I'm going to be under that time constraint, and that's fine. And then I'm going to, at the end, come back to the roadmap before giving some more details about us and our business. So with respect to this, if you look on the screen, we've basically got a number of different columns. Furthest on the left, we've got the month. Now I've got month -6, month -3, month -2. Now month 0 is when you leave your job and you do this full time. So the predicating element for this is really how I did it, which was having some prep work, but then being all in on that month 0, like when you start. Trying to do this, I mean, there's lots of different ways to do this. This is really how I did it. So I'll really speak to that. So then we've got a number of different columns. So we've got the number of reviews. We've got when your website goes live. So that should be 3 months before you start full time, which is month 0. The number of free strategy sessions that you're going to do each month. You've got the social media setup, which is your Facebook, your Instagram, and your LinkedIn. Your joining of a BNI chapter. How much social media outreach you need to do every week. How many clients you're going to coach for free to basically get referrals and also reviews from those clients. And then with reference to pricing. So the pricing that we have now, our main pricing, we've got a few different options, but the pricing that we have is 3 at current time of filming, might change in 5 or 10 years time if you're watching this in the future. But as of the date of filming, it's $3,000 a month plus GST. So that's the full price. You're not going to see that for 5-6 months into your journey. And really there's reasons behind that, but you have to prove to yourself that you can coach, that you can help people, that you know what you're talking about, that you can win clients at a lower rate first. And there's a lot of psychology around selling and doing it properly and being confident and whatnot. And you can see on the screen how I've really stepped that out. So in month 0, you're going to aim to get 2 clients at $750 a month. And this is all based off a 1-hour session every week. Then you're going to slowly ramp that up and then hit it hard in month 2 to get 10 before ramping that back down over the next 6 months. And you can see the total clients in the second last column and then the revenue. So this is a slow incremental increase to $40,000 a month in month 9 based off a few things. It's based off getting a stack of reviews and using them as social proof. So Google My Business reviews, putting those reviews on your Instagram and your Facebook and your LinkedIn, and then doing a lot of social media and email outreach. Now, if you look at the hours that I've allocated to that per week, it's 30 hours a week, which depending upon how you want to do it, my recommendation would be to do it between the hours of 5 and 7 a.m. or between the hours of 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. at night. Because most of the time when you have a small business owner, they are actually during key business hours busy doing their thing, not entirely receptive to getting a cold email or a cold direct message on Instagram from an aspiring business coach. So you want to do that before normal hours or after normal hours. Then really the mechanism is to win clients that you're going to coach for free, either through a free strategy session or through a quarter price offer, and then slowly flip that, turn off the cheaper clients until you're at the point where you can fill your pipeline with people that are paying the full price. So I'm just going to turn off Teams because I've got a bit of a ding. So I'll turn that off. Shut that down, and now we'll move to the next slide. So in terms of specifically, we're basically going to go through these foundations now, and I'll speak to each of these individually. So the first thing is really that your spouse needs to be fully in on this, because if you're going to commit to doing this full-time, and it is a full-time gig, particularly at the beginning, you have to discuss it together. You have to commit to action. You cannot and must not have a plan B, because if you're going to be all in on this, you've got to make it work. So if you half bake it, you will fail. So for myself and for my wife, Natalie, we had a long time to mentally prepare for this, to get the household ready, to make sure that, we had some good alignment with, what we were doing and why. And that was a massive success factor for me, because, I wouldn't be where I am now with Brainiact, having 6 franchise partners and helping over 100 business owners over the last 3 years, without my wife's support. And it would have been a really tough and probably impossible mission to build the business to where it is now, to a franchise business without that full support. So have a really solid discussion with your spouse. Understand that it's a team effort. I'll talk about this in some subsequent slides, but make sure that you've got a war chest ready. You should have some money saved so that when you go out and commit in the way that you need to make this work, you're not immediately thinking, oh my God, I need to stress, this bill needs to be paid, we're running out of money. Because when you get into that sort of desperate mindset, people that you're looking to coach can feel that. And coaches aren't desperate. Coaches aren't panicky. They're not clingy. They're confident. They're calm. They're collected. They're centered. And that's part of the service that people are buying. And you can't emanate or manifest any of those characteristics if you're, desperately worried about paying for the electricity bill next month, or, whatever the bill might be that's sort of on the cards. Accountability. So who will be your accountability buddy? And you do need one. For me, it was my good friend Gus, knowing Gus is probably watching this live now. So thank you for your support, Gus. Gus was my accountability buddy, really for the first 6 months of my business. He told me the hard truths that no one else was, really willing to say. Particularly early on, I thought that, merely opening a business was enough to bring the customers through the door. And I learned that the hard way, that it wasn't. And it will be hard. You're going to be tempted to make excuses as to why it's not working. You're going to want to blame everybody else. You will take shortcuts. And ultimately, like I said, towards the beginning of this information session / presentation, getting to 40,000 a month is pretty straightforward. And I sort of outlined that in the roadmap, but it's not easy because there's a lot of work. I mean, if you think about the previous couple of slides ago, there was really, 20, 30 hours a week of outreach, emails that you need to do to build a pipeline of people that, might be interested in who you are and what you're talking about. And if you're not prepared to put that time in, good luck. It's not going to work for you. So, the worst thing that you can do as an aspiring business coach is, open your business and just sort of sit there and wait for people to walk through the door, because it's not going to happen. I'll give you the real truth now. If you have any fantasy land ideals or visions of getting to 40,000 a month as a coach within, 9 years, let alone 9 months, just waiting, it's not going to happen. So it took me 9 months, but it might take you 24 months. It might also take you 3. Everyone's different. So, it was a lot of work for 9 months to get to that level. And it's been a lot of work since then. Obviously, we're doing lots of different things in the business now, not just focusing on one-to-one coaching, but on building a framework where we can get lots of people the help they need through other coaches. But ultimately, you need somebody to hold you accountable. You need somebody to tell you to get out there, to pick yourself up, and to eat the pain of people ignoring you, of people rejecting you, people not responding to your messages, because it's a numbers game. If you send 100 emails, 100 direct messages, and if you get one or two people express interest, you might need to spend 500 direct messages or 500 emails to get 5 to 10 people, reasonably interested. And then to get, one paying client from that would be a really good outcome. So if you take that, that's a 1 to 500 ratio of people contacted to customers. And you can reverse engineer the maths from that, right? So if you want 5,000 customers, you need X number of outreaches. So it's all mathematical in the sense of how many people you need to contact to get the opportunity, how many people have to express an interest to get a client. So it's the old Napoleon Bonaparte quote, quantity has a quality all of its own. So you obviously need to have some good quality, meaningful outreach that delivers value to the prospect. If we go back to some previous slides, I spoke about give. That's super important, because if you're just saying, hey, I'm Jared, I'm a coach, I can help you, they'll be like, yeah, that's fine. But the other 15 people that messaged me over the past month, selling coaching services, have all said the same thing, as opposed to, hey, Sarah, I saw your beautician business at the shops last week, and I noticed that the floor was dirty. Here's some information about a local cleaner I know. Maybe they can help you. I mean, whatever the thing is, it's all about adding value through that outreach, not just obviously spamming people, and giving them that opportunity to learn more about you. But to this specific point, you need somebody to give you tough love and to hold you accountable, because if no one's doing it, you're just going to sort of mosey along, do 5 or 10 hours worth of work a week and think that you're crunching it, but really you're not. And hustle, sell, self-promote. Don't be shy. Don't worry about what you look like. Don't worry about what you sound like. You've got to be out there. You've got to be in front of people. You've got to be talking. You've got to be meeting people. You've got to be connecting with people. If you can't self-promote, don't become a coach. If you can't or don't want to sell, don't become a coach. And particularly if you can't get out of your comfort zone, don't become a coach. Now, this is for people, and when I say this, I mean this presentation, it's obviously for people more like me, maybe 35 to 50, mid-corporate people that, want to go out and obviously make a difference and make some money as well. Now, this is different, right? If you're Richard Branson or Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, you don't need to self-promote. You don't need to sell. You can just put the thing up and say, hey, I'm Elon Musk. I'll be your coach. And he'll be inundated with people wanting to work with him, right? So if you've already got a platform, if you've already got some significant connections and networks, then yeah, this particular information isn't particularly relevant. But if you're coming from behind the mark and you don't have any of that, then you need to be able to self-promote. You need to be able to sell. You have to get out of your comfort zone, because if you can't, it's not going to work. And that's a big part of, I guess, the tough love and the accountability that I got from my friend Gus when I started Brainiact back in 2021. He told me, he said, if you're not willing to sell, don't start a business. And it was a real wake-up call when I heard it. And he was right. And it's something that I needed to hear at that particular time. Yes, website, social media, company registration. So this is, some of the fundamental stuff. So when you start, you don't need a $5,000 or a $10,000 website. A Wix, a GoDaddy, something really basic is fine. It doesn't need to have a stack of information. It just needs to resonate with you, who you are, what your values are, what you do, and make it authentic. Make it relatable. Make it personal. People connect with that. So that's really important. It doesn't need to be a complicated behemoth full of random information and whatnot. You can build that up later, obviously, once your cash flow starts to come in and you're getting some money through the door and you've turned the corner and you've replaced whatever the income was that you wanted to get going. And then with regards to company registration, obviously get it registered with ASIC if you're doing a company. I'm not an accountant. I can't give you financial advice, but my recommendation would be get it set up as a proprietary limited company. I guess you can do sole trader. It really depends on your personal preference, but make sure you've ticked all of the boxes depending upon where you are in the world, what your regulatory framework is, what your compliance requirements are from the beginning. Because if you try to sort of unravel that towards the end, it can get a bit messy. But really, the main thing with this is be honest, be vulnerable, be yourself on social media, and make sure that you get everything set up correctly as it relates to that company registration. So with respect to the financials, so I touched on this earlier, you really want to make sure you've got a good amount of cash in the bank so that you're not stressed. A good rule of thumb I would suggest would be 6 to 9 months of your sort of, I was about to say operating expenses, but your household expenses, right? So mortgage repayments, grocery bills, electricity bills, kids' school fees, etc., etc. Keep your costs as low as possible during this sort of transitory phase into becoming a business coach, and make sure you've got that money in the bank. Absolute minimum I would consider would be 3 months, but even 3 months, if things aren't going well in the first sort of 4-6 weeks, you might get a bit freaked out and start to make some panicky short-term decisions, which isn't good. So really make sure that you've got money in the bank so that you're not going to make panicked short-term decisions, and break down your plan. Like I laid it down earlier with the table. If you understand why you're doing free strategy sessions, if you understand why you're coaching clients for free, if you understand why you're then coaching clients at a quarter price and then half price and then full price, you can understand what that journey is like and know that it's all feeding towards the ultimate outcome, which is to achieve financial independence, to hit that $40,000 a month target, and then to have the ability to help people in a really meaningful way on your terms as it relates to your self-employment status, and being able to do that anywhere around the world. Over the past 3 years, we've had the really good fortune based off the success that we've had with our business, for me and my wife and the children, to be able to work from all around the world and all around Australia, which is obviously where we live. And we never would have been able to do that within the corporate framework. Good luck asking your boss for 7 weeks working from home while you travel around wherever. So having it all broken down, having enough money in the bank, and really sticking to your plan. You've got to back yourself. You've got to understand that this will work if you stick to your plan, if you have an accountability buddy, if you have enough cash in the bank so that you don't stress. And like this last point says, social proof is massive. Instagram reels, videos from successful clients, written testimonials from clients. And these clients can be clients from a free strategy session, from somebody you've coached for free, or somebody you've coached for quarter or half price. Use that information. Let those people tell your audience or their friends and colleagues how good their experience was being coached by you. You've got to use that. Like I said earlier, the self-promotion, the ability to tell everyone that you exist and who you are and what you do is absolutely vital. And if you're not going to do it as a self-employed coach, no one else is going to do it for you. So keep giving that value for free, and use the testimonials and the information when it comes through to tell other people through your client's voice how good you are. So when it comes to launching your business, tell everybody. You can go through your, most recent 100 calls on your phone and let everyone know. Tell your family and friends. Self-promote. Get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. So get out there. Join a BNI or a similar networking group. Make that commitment to get out there and be consciously promoting yourself and your business. Chambers of commerce are great too. They're obviously very prevalent here in Australia. And the good old door knock. One of my favorites is deal door hangers. So if you've ever stayed in the hotel room, these are the sort of do not disturb things that you can hang on the front of your hotel room if you don't want the cleaners to come in and fix your room up. They're fantastic for any business, really. If you can find a stack of businesses with doors and stick them on the door, you will get a stack of inquiries coming through. And the good old-fashioned fly drops as well. So, when you go out there and launch your business, make sure that you're telling everyone you're being active, you're promoting things, you're being positive, you're being proactive, you're letting your accountability buddy hold you accountable so that you can go out there and let the world know that you exist. And if you think back to the table I showed towards the beginning of this presentation, 25, 30 hours of outreach, email outreach, cold emails, text formatted emails, not HTML formatted, no pictures, no links, just nice and simple so that you can increase the deliverability of that email. There's so many little things that you can do using that 25 or 30 hours a week, but doing it consistently in that volume is really important, because if you've just started your coaching business, no one's going to know that you exist. So you need to get that information out there into the market. In terms of securing the initial clients, so if you remember, again, back to the roadmap, you're looking at coaching people for free, or you're looking at coaching through free strategy sessions for business owners. So ask yourself, who do you know that owns a business? Is it your accountant? Is it your hairdresser? Is it the baker you buy a bread from on a Sunday morning? Is it a local coffee shop? Think of all of the money that you spend with small businesses in your local area, and think about that. It might be a family member, it might be a friend, it might be a friend of a friend. Really, you want to scope out in your mind who are the people that you know or interact with that own a business, and how can you have a discussion with them about, hey, I'd love to coach you for free for 8 weeks, for example. We're going to meet every week for 60 minutes. All I ask is at the end of that engagement, if you have a really good experience, to give me a video testimonial and a review. Now, yes, that's 8 weeks worth of work for free, but you've got to be humble about that, because if you can do that for 8 weeks for free, generate a good testimonial, potentially get 3 referrals from that person, that 8 weeks for free might end up with 4 paying clients in 3 months' time. So you have to take the long-term view. You have to back yourself. You have to commit to the plan, and you have to commit to the roadmap, because that's what's going to begin to move the needle, right? It's going to begin to move the needle towards that $40,000 a month mark quicker than if you just go out there and try to sell full price, full ticket offer from day one to every single person you meet. And let's be honest, you'll still be learning how to sell. You'll still be learning how to promote yourself. You'll still be learning how to coach. So to be honest, why should any of those people pay full price for your services, unless you're an Elon Musk or a Zuckerberg or whatever, and they have no idea who you are? So you have to be able to go out there and find those people, offer them value, coach them for free, like I'm going to talk about in subsequent slides. Treat those clients like $1 million deal. Don't treat them like a free client. Don't treat them like a quarter or half price client. Treat them like $1 billion client. Make sure that they're getting an excellent experience, because if they get an excellent experience and they get a good result from your coaching, they're going to tell other people about it, and those people can pay. So from the perspective of securing your initial clients, you have to be out there. You have to self-promote. You have to get out there. You have to get out there. You have to get out there, because if you don't, you're basically just sitting there on your hands waiting for somebody to come in and rescue you and to give you a stack of orders. And I'm telling you now, it's not going to happen. So I touched on this earlier. So you need to be free before you can charge, right? So the pricing suggestion I gave earlier was really based on starting out free, then doing quarter price, half price, and full price. I suggest a ramp up, something in line with that. That's what I did. You can do it however you want, but I wouldn't recommend, like I just said, starting full price from the beginning. I don't think that's a wise strategy, because you have to be cheap before you can charge a lot. You are learning how to coach, you're learning your clients, and they're going to be teaching you just as much as you're teaching them, because there might be a strategy that you learn that could work for an accountant, for example, that you're coaching, from a bookkeeper that you can then teach to another accountant, or that you can then coach a cabinetry business on, or whatever. The cross-pollination and the information that you actually get from clients that's stored in your head that you can then disperse across your full client network is huge. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that you just don't know that small business owners can do to be successful. So why should those people pay full price when you don't know any of those things yet? So take a long-term view, adjust your pricing strategy to attract those first clients, and the pricing strategy will be free. Then it will be a little bit more, and then over 9 months or longer if you want. That's what I did. You can do it the way you want, or longer. You can increase your pricing when the time is right. So treat every client like a $1 million deal. This is massive. If you give people a great service, even if they are paying nothing, or even if they are paying a small amount, they will be happy, and happy customers tell other people. It's the old saying, right? An unhappy customer will tell 10, a happy customer will tell 1. So make sure that the experience for your clients is good. Don't begrudge the fact that, oh my, these people are taking me for a ride. They're getting me for free. I'm worth this much. You're not worth anything. No one's worth anything. You're learning. You're processing how to be a coach. You're cross-pollinating information from other people. So treat every client like it's a billion-dollar customer. Over-service them. And when the time is right, you are going to farm for Google reviews. You are going to farm for testimonials. And you can ask with absolute sincerity and hand on heart for those reviews, knowing that you've earned them because you've delivered a huge amount of value. Now, social proof, this concept of putting these testimonials on your landing page website, putting these testimonials and Google reviews on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your LinkedIn, on your Google My Business, even as specific little updates, putting that out there. When people stumble across your business, the friends told their husband or their wife or their cousin or their auntie or uncle, and they've come across you and they see all of these data points that say, wow, this business coach has 50 5-star Google reviews, and look at all these testimonials. Wow, they must be really good. Yes, I am really good. Why? Because I'm treating every deal like a $1 million deal. You don't tell people that, but that's about doing the right thing. It's about having a high moral compass. It's about understanding that if you're going to deliver that value to the client, it's the right thing to do for them. It's not about you, but doing the right thing for them will eventually result in some good stuff for you. But you have to earn it. You have to do it first. You can't just ask from it from the get-go. In terms of building the business, always ask for payment up front. Don't have contracts or agreement. Use Xero because it's fantastic. And ideally get clients on recurring payments. So you can do this in Stripe. You can do this in Xero. I'm pretty sure you can do this on PayPal. I'm sure you can do it on MyOb. There's lots of different pieces of software where you can do this, but ideally you want people to load their credit or their debit card, and then the recurring payment happens on the 5th or the 8th or whatever of every month, and it just happens. So rather than sending them an invoice and then having to decide do I pay this or not this month? Let me think about it. No, you're getting them out of that mindset. The payment, whether it's a quarter, half, or full price, the payment just comes out each month, because then they're indicating their commitment to the process rather than having to rethink about it all the time. Networking and growth. So for me, I joined a BNI chapter as soon as I started my business. I'm still in BNI now, nearly 3 years later. BNI has been fantastic for me. There are other business networking groups, obviously, so you join the best one that sort of sits with you and who you are and what you do. But expect to give and to provide 5 to 15 times more value than you get. So I've put in caps here: give, 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 give. And do not sell in networking situations. Please don't meet people for the first time and then pitch yourself and talk about how good you are and how much you're able to help them. Don't do it, because you're just going to push people away. So look at the person in front of you, the business owner, and add value to them. What information can you give them for free that would help them? What connection can you facilitate that might benefit them? Understand the person in front of you, try to quantify what their problems are and solve their problems in advance of even talking to them about becoming their coach or offering them a free strategy session, because that's how you build trust. And taking people on a journey from you being a complete nobody in their lives to somebody that they know, like, and trust, that's when they'll give you their inquiry. They'll say something like, what's coaching? How does it work? How much does it cost? What guarantees do you offer, etc.? Then you can launch into your pitch, right? But do not sell to random people in networking events and give a lot of value, because that's how you can demonstrate trust, competency. And if you're a likable person and you're very competent, then they'll give you their inquiry. This is what I did, but I always add and still add prospects and clients as friends on Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook and LinkedIn. But the stuff that I put on private on LinkedIn, like with photos of my children and my wife, maybe on holidays or whatever, that's not public on LinkedIn. So for people that I do have a good connection with, and I want to build that relationship with, prospects and clients, I add them on Facebook to create that intimacy and that connection, because that's really important. And I've had clients over the years, when I was really going through this growth journey as a coach, that I would speak to in month 3, that then became a customer in month 15, a long time later, because we had a good discussion. I was the right person, but it was the wrong time. Then we became friends on Facebook. They saw my kids, my holiday, this and that. And then they felt like they were across me and connected with me. And then when they were ready, they asked and we had a discussion, and that person became a client, seemingly overnight from my perspective. But they were obviously seeing the information that I put out online and building their connection with me remotely through social media. So that's a big part of it as well. Set a target for active clients and have actionable strategies to meet these goals. So we've spoken a lot today about these strategies and the plans, and really it boils down to giving value, charging nothing or a little bit before you charge a little bit or a lot, and sticking to the plan, being accountable, having enough money in the bank so that you don't stress out, and understand that as an employee in a big business or a small business or a medium-sized business, most of the time things are given to you, whether it's a customer or a task, a system to manage, a process to manage, or people to manage. Things are generally facilitated for you by somebody else, which makes your life easier. Now, as a self-employed business coach, nobody's going to give you anything. You have to do it all yourself. It's a lonely place. It is quite easy, but you need to be disciplined. You need to be focused. You need to stick to your plan. You need to stick to your plan. Back yourself. If you've got enough money in the bank, if you know that, okay, yes, I'm going to coach these 10 people for free for 3 months, for example, knowing that those 10 at the completion of that journey might become 2 or 3. You can even talk to them about, okay, I've coached you for free for 3 months. Would you like to pay half price now because I've got a different program or a better offer? Or if those people that were free don't want to transition to half, you're building your pipeline of people that can potentially give you an inquiry. So you've got to stick to that plan and understand that if you go hard out from the start without the right backing and support and try to charge full price from the beginning, it's going to be very difficult for you. This is the coaching methodology that I sort of did for myself. So 24/7 access, no lock-in contracts, a big focus, and this is my personality on goals and actions and things that need to happen. A lot of tough love and accountability, because ultimately that's what they're paying you for, right? So be friendly, but you're not their friend. Friends help each other. you're obviously there to help your client as a coach, but you're also there to hold them accountable, to give them a kick up the bum when they need it, to make sure they're doing what they have to do. Yes, there are some instances where you need to be the shoulder to cry on, or you have to put your arm around the client to help them in a tough time. But ultimately, you're there to help them understand what's the goal they're striving towards and what are the things they need to do to begin the progression towards those goals. That's your role in their life. And a big part of the philosophies that I've got around, probably not so much around the personality, but certainly the overarching strategy, was this book, E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. So if you're going to become a business coach and follow this process, absolutely, hands down, you have to read that book. It's fantastic. You'll love it. Stick to your methodology, provide value, have multiple points of contact throughout the week, and always add value, and understand that you are there to challenge respectfully within the right framework that business owner and hold them accountable to do what they need to do to grow their business. Because coaching is for clients that want to grow and are open to the guidance and the support. So the ultimate manifestation of that is building your business to sell it or building your business to franchise it. In my opinion, there's no other way. And when you get people on board for that process, they understand that, okay, I'm going to invest $1,000 or $1,500 or $3,000 a month, which is, up to $36,000 a year. You can charge more, obviously, up to $36,000 a year for a 12-month process, which, if successful, will be a building block towards the point in time in the future when I can sell my business or I can franchise my business. But that doesn't work if the person's end goal is, well, I want to go from 500,000 gross and 200,000 net to 600,000 gross and $250,000 net, because then they're spending 36 grand to make 50 grand clear extra. And it's not really, for some people it might be worth it, but for me, it's disproportionate to the amount of value that you can add based off the money that they're spending. So it needs to be for people that want to aggressively and grow. I want to go from 500,000 gross now to 5 million in 6 years or whatever. It's got to be proportionately higher so that they can have something aspirational to push towards, because that pull of the future based off the goal that you set for them and then having actionable steps along the way is what's going to keep them moving towards the progression of that goal. And target small businesses, right? So a lot of the ones that I had success with at the beginning were trade businesses. I'm a male, obviously. I like sport. I like cricket. I like soccer. A lot of the people I grew up with had those sorts of businesses, so that's what resonated with me. But it doesn't need to be like that for you. Find something that you like, people you can connect with, and focus on that. People that are at the beginning of that journey, ideally 5 or 6 people or less that want to go for it and have a good crack. They're excellent targets. Coaching always works as long as clients commit to the process, connect with their coach, and prioritize action and get things done. So really, that's what you want to double down and hammer home with your prospects and your clients, particularly once they start paying full price or even half price. It's really all about that long-term goal setting and holding them accountable for them to do what they need to do to move the needle towards the progression of that target. Now, if they're not doing what they need to do, eventually they're going to stop the coaching process. And if you adopt the methodology that I adopted with no lock-in contracts, they'll just leave. So ultimately, you need to keep them connected on that long-term goal. You need to keep them focused on, well, I'm not getting value out of, Jenny, my coach. It's actually about, well, what am I not doing? Rather than, Jenny's a waste of money. That's not what it's about. It's about Jenny as the coach holding Johnny, the client, accountable through the goals that have been set and the actions that are or aren't being done. That's basically what the coach is there to do, to facilitate that process. So the flexible contracts and the 24/7 access really, for me, always created a positive paranoia, as I like to call it, to deliver value. Otherwise, the client's going to leave. So you've got to deliver value today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next quarter, next year. Otherwise, the client will leave. And as we all know, it's 10 times more expensive to find a new client than to keep an existing one. So really having that methodology of adding value, having multiple touch points throughout the week, focusing on delivering value all the time, delivering value all the time, delivering value all the time, again and again and again. Hammer home. How can I help this person? Who can I connect them with? What information did I find on the internet that could help them? Do I need to check in with them on the Friday night, make sure they're okay because they had a massive issue with the business on a Tuesday? Whatever the situation is, add value, create that sense of omnipresence, because then the clients shouldn't leave because they're getting a good experience. They're feeling like they're supported. They've got a long-term goal to move towards. They're being held accountable for the actions that they need to do based off the things you've worked on together. And then they'll feel that progression towards the goal. Excuse me. So if you're doing that through that positive paranoia, no contracts, value, 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 give, 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 you're going to create a good experience. You're going to get referrals and you're going to keep those clients that are essentially paying. Adding value, I just spoke about this. So you need to add value or the clients will leave. Small value adds, when babies are born, people are married, congratulations, small gifts. I bought a lot of donuts for clients in the first year, actually, for celebratory milestones and different things that happened. And everyone loves donuts. We've got donuts with balloons, this bright pink box, named donuts. It was really cool. And I actually had one client early on. He had I won't say who it is, but he had an operation, and it was an injury on a work site. And I sent him balloons and donuts, which are bright pink, and his fiance actually thought it was from his secret girlfriend. So we actually got in trouble from that until he told her that it was from his business coach. So yeah, those sorts of memories, they last people a lifetime. And that particular client, I know he will never forget that moment because it was memorable and humorous and all of those things. So, that's really what you want to create, right? An omnipresence with the client through the addition of adding value for people. We're nearly at the end, so that's really cool. So I've got a couple more slides. So, really want to look out for growth signals. So this is from a practical perspective, excuse me, from looking out for people that might be referral partners and also growth signals. So good referral partners, in my experience, have been people that build websites, bookkeepers, people that do vehicle signage, like the van or the ute in front of us on the screen now. So people that do the signage for vehicles, because businesses rather that create signage or banners or drop off flyers or drop off, like in our mailbox, somebody dropped some magnets in our mailbox 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I called them to see how they were going and offer some value. Like people that are doing things out there in the market to grow their business, they're basically saying, I want to grow. I want more customers. Please help me, Mr. or Mrs. Business Coach. Like they're obviously not saying that to you, but through their expression of, I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow into the marketplace, you can then contact those people and say, hey, how'd the magnet drop that you did? How did it go? Or like I did, oh, hey, did you know that whoever did your magnet dropped 5 of them in my letterbox? You might want to have a chat to them about the honesty of their distribution method, because obviously they're just jamming 5 of these things in people's letterboxes rather than doing 1 each. So from that perspective, you can add value. I added value to that person. Now, I'm not on the hunt for clients, so I didn't actually try to sell. I didn't actually try to even follow up or anything, to be honest. But for me, it was just about, crap, this person spent a lot of money on these magnets, and whoever's distributing them isn't doing a good job. So I let them know about that. So, people with vehicle signage, you can ring them. I've done this before. You can ring somebody in front of you that has a van, a truck, a car with signage and say, hey, I'm behind you. I'm a business coach. I noticed your tail light's out, or whatever. You strike up a discussion and add value with people because you're looking out for those growth signals. It comes back to the earlier point, everyone. No one's coming to save you. If you're going to be a coach, you've got to go out and hustle and grow your own business. No one's going to do it for you. So you've got to have your mind out there looking for these signals from people that they might be interested in growth. Then you capture that opportunity, speak to those people, have a discussion with them, not about you, not about your coaching service, not about how good you are. You're actually doing it to help them. You're giving them something of value, whether it's information, whether it's a strategy that worked with one of your clients that's analogous to them. Whatever it is, use your brain and your nous and your experience, but give value. Expect to give 10 to 20 times more value than you get back. And when people come to you, they'll trust you, they'll like you, and you're more likely to get somebody that says, what's this business coach thing? Or what's a business coach do? Or how much does it cost? Or how does it work? What's involved? They'll ask some sort of preparatory question like that, and then you can launch into the discussion. Oh, let's have a meeting. Let's talk about it. I'll explain the process for you. That's when you should sell and sell properly. The only exception to that I would suggest is if you get an inquiry directly from your Instagram or your website or whatever, or referrals. So, importance of preparation and support and commitment. So stick to your plan, leverage your accountability buddy. You have to be in this 110%. You can't be in second or third gear. You have to be in fourth or fifth gear, going fast, making things happen, sticking to your plan. And let's be honest, having a huge preparation about personal sacrifices. So it was damn hard to get to 40,000 a month in 9 months. I mean, I worked harder in that 9 months, and even since then, to be honest, as a business owner, we made the decision to then scale up to help more people, rather than just sitting comfortably on 40 whatever grand a month. So it's hard. It's going to be hard. You got to do what you got to do. You have to be out there. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. And let's face it, most of the outreach that you're going to do is going to be between 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Because guess what? That's when business owners are the most open to this sort of material. Because if you do it when it's convenient for you, after you've dropped the kids off or, before dinner or whatever during key business hours, people are going to ignore you. So you've got to make it easy for people that might be receptive to your outreach when it's easy for them. That's a sacrifice in itself. And even, like I've said here in this last point, once you get to 40 grand a month, it doesn't stop. The wheels can easily fall off. You've got to keep prospecting. You've got to keep hustling. You've got to keep moving. You've got to keep all of those irons in the fire out there. Otherwise, people are going to drop off. Clients do drop off. It's normal. People achieve their goal. Things happen. As soon as you stop this process, it's not that you're doomed for failure, but, things will fall off pretty quickly. So commit to your plan, prepare for your plan, have the cash in the bank, and go hammer and tong knowing that there is no plan B. You have to make this work. So second last slide, I think, from memory, the roadmap. So the recap, get your website live, get your social media live, get into a BNI or similar chapter. That's your prep. Then you're looking at 30, 25, 20 hours a week of outreach, email, social media, direct messages. Get free clients, lots of them. Do free strategy sessions, lots of them. And get a stack of reviews. Get as many reviews as possible. Use them on Instagram. Use them on LinkedIn. Use them on Facebook. Get video testimonials. Get them on your Google My Business. Email them to people. Put links to other businesses and talk to, if you want to get a landscaper client, you've worked with 3 landscapers, tell that landscaper the details of these 3 landscapers that you've worked with, and they might go, wow, I know one of those guys. That's great. Then you might ask this guy, hey, how was Jennifer, your coach? Oh, she was fantastic. Bang, customer. So you've got to stick to this process. You've got to back yourself and understand that you are going to have to do work for free or for cheap before you can charge a full amount, and know that it's going to be a full-time job. It's going to be 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And how hard do you want it? How badly do you want it? Are you going to do what needs to be done to make it happen? So I'm going to wrap up now. It's been fantastic. My name's Jared Dawson. I'm the founder of Brainiact. If this is of any interest, we have franchises available. We can make this process easier for you. If anything that I said today doesn't make sense, please feel free to reach out, whether you're watching this live or the recording afterwards. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on email there, or you can give me a call. Ultimately, we're here to provide support and resources to small business owners, whether that's through Brainiact or through you with your own business. We wish you all the very best. Thanks for paying attention, and goodbye for now.